Self-publishing can feel overwhelming, but only until you see how all of the pieces fit together. Once you understand the process and how it all works together to help you produce an amazing book, everything just clicks. Today, we're going to go over the 5 critical phases of self-publishing that most authors have never been shown. Let's get started. Hey there, I'm Amanda. I help new authors confidently publish their books. If you're serious about publishing your book the right way, without the mistakes and confusion, make sure you subscribe. Also, I've linked my free self-publishing checklist in the description below, so you can follow along with everything I'm about to share with you today. Before we dive in, here's the big picture. There are 5 phases of self-publishing that you need to go through to make your book a success. Some of these phases overlap, but you need all of them to give your book the best chance for success. They are the writing and research phase, the editing phase, the pre-launch, the launch, and the post-launch. Going through each of these 5 phases will help you simplify the self-publishing process. Phase number 1 is the writing and research phase, and it starts long before you publish your book, often a year or more in advance. This phase includes, of course, finishing your manuscript, but this is also when you begin researching your book's positioning. Ideally, you want to clarify most of your book's positioning information before you enter the editing phase, because this gives you the chance to make any necessary changes you may need to make before you send the manuscript to your editors. But why is it so important to understand your book's positioning before you finalize the manuscript? It's because most authors write the book that interests them without fully understanding what their audience is actually looking for. This can cause a huge gap between the content of your book and what your potential readers actually want to read, which can lead to difficult marketing and fewer sales. Instead, you want to write the book you love while also taking your readers' needs into consideration. But you can only do that if you understand what your reader is looking for. This is where your research comes in. You want to start understanding your target reader in advance so you know how to best reach them. There are 5 key steps to this in the research phase. First of all, you're going to identify your ideal reader. Who is the perfect person to pick up your book? The person who is absolutely going to love it the most. Next, you're going to research your genre and tropes. It's important to understand your genre early on, because this is going to help you choose an editor, as well as help you categorize the book into the genre that readers expect a book like yours to be in. You also want to look into the most popular tropes for that genre. New authors often think that tropes are a bad thing, but that's only if you overuse them. Sprinkling in the right tropes for your genre can actually delight your readers and give them that familiar thrill that they're looking for when reading your book. Next, you're going to study comp titles. Your comp titles are the books already published that are most similar to yours. You want to identify the top 3 comp titles that have the most similar elements to your book, because those books will give you important clues into what your ideal reader is looking for and where you can find them. Next, you're going to research your keywords. Keywords are search terms that people use to look for things online. By understanding your best keywords early, you will be able to include them in your book's description and title so the book can be easily found by the right readers. And the final step in this phase is to choose your book title. Your title tells readers a lot about what's in the book and can make a huge difference in marketing later. It's okay if you haven't pinned down your exact book title yet, but I recommend having at least 2 or 3 options that you can run by beta readers and other potential readers. Many authors wait until the end of the publishing process to start researching their book's positioning and choose their title, but by then it's too late to make changes if they're needed, and it gives you a lot less time to consider other options. If you start this step in phase 1, you'll set yourself up for a much easier publishing journey. The second phase in the publishing process is the editing phase. This is where your book gets cleaned up and polished so it sounds clear and professional. Your book will go through several rounds of edits before this phase is complete. But if you take the time to go through each step and take it seriously, by the end, your book is going to be amazing. First, you will need to go through a self-edit and make the manuscript as clean as possible on your own. Don't underestimate the importance of rewrites and revisions. One pass is almost never enough. Then, when your book is as clean as you feel you can make it, you can choose to send it out to a few beta readers. There are a few things to keep in mind if you choose to do this. First, it's important to protect your work before you send it out. Only send it to people that you really trust and who also are interested in the type of book that you're writing. This is where your research starts to come in handy. When you give your book to beta readers, be specific about the feedback that you want from them. Ask them specific questions about the manuscript and how the story is coming across. The purpose of sending your manuscript out to beta readers is to get the initial feedback and start understanding the things that work and don't work in the book. Keep in mind, beta readers are good at spotting problems, but they are rarely as helpful at providing solutions. But that's okay, because this is where your developmental editor shines. Once you've gotten all of your feedback back from the beta readers and fixed any of the glaringly obvious issues they've uncovered for you, then it's time to send your manuscript out to a developmental editor. The developmental edit is the big picture edit that looks at the book as a whole and makes sure that everything is presented in a cohesive manner. And they can help you solve any of the more complicated plot issues that your beta readers may have found. Once your book is finished going through the developmental edit, you can then send it on to your line and copy editors. Keep in mind, line and copy edits are actually two different steps, but there are some editors out there who will do both at the same time. The line edit focuses on the clarity and flow of the manuscript. It helps you get your points across in a way that will best resonate with your target audience. The copy edit looks at smaller details, grammar, punctuation, spelling, so that everything is clean and polished. Now, I know that already sounds like a lot, but we're not quite finished. After the copy edit is complete, then we move on to formatting. This is where your manuscript starts to actually look like a book. Formatting adds chapter headings, images, notes, and puts them in the right places so the book looks organized and professional. Then, after all of that is finished, you want to get the final proofread. This proofread is your last chance to catch any mistakes or formatting errors before your book goes to print. Editing is a long process with several layers, but each one has a specific purpose and makes a big difference in the finished product. I encourage you not to skip any of these steps if you want to produce a high-quality book. Our third phase of self-publishing is the pre-launch phase. The pre-launch is super important because it sets your book up for success before you hit publish. And the good news is you can start on this phase while you're still working in the editing phase. These two phases often overlap because you have a lot of free time while your editors are working on the manuscript. And none of these steps require the manuscript to be fully edited before you get started. I recommend starting the pre-launch phase at least 6 months before your intended publish date, so you have enough time to do it right. The first step in the pre-launch phase is getting your cover design. This is why you want to already know what your comp titles are, so you can design a cover that attracts the right readers for your book. Many authors treat the cover like an afterthought or a last-minute step before publishing, but your book cover is very important. Your cover communicates to readers on a subconscious level and tells them a lot about what's inside the book. Personally, I prefer to work with a professional cover designer who understands this language and can help me do it right. Next, you want to get your author website up and running. Even if it's just a single page that lives on the internet, you want to have a home base where readers can find you that doesn't live on a social media platform. Then you can get started on your email list. Your email list is important because it allows you to interact with your readers regularly on a platform that's not controlled by algorithms or overrun with ads. An engaged email list can often double or even triple your book sales over time. This is also when you want to start thinking about your social media content plan. Social media can feel overwhelming, but if you have a plan set up in advance, it'll make the process much easier. The pre-launch phase is also when you want to start preparing your metadata. You've been doing research on this since phase 1. Now, you should have enough information to choose your categories and keywords and write a compelling book description. Also during this phase, you want to purchase your ISBN and get your book set up with the proper identifiers. Some platforms will offer free ISBNs for authors, but in most cases, I don't recommend using those. For most books, I recommend purchasing your own ISBN through Bowker. Next, you want to assemble your ARC team. ARC stands for Advanced Reader Copy. This is the group of people who will get your book early so they can read it and be ready to write reviews and engage with the book as soon as you hit publish. You want your ARC team set up on a separate list from your main email list. That way, you can connect with them about specific launch details and give them updates as your publishing date gets closer. Finally, in the pre-launch phase, you want to decide on your marketing budget for the book launch. How much are you prepared to spend on ads, interviews, and other marketing strategies once the book is published? Don't wait until the last minute to think about this. Marketing costs can easily get out of hand if you aren't prepared. Phase 4 is the launch phase. You want to start working on your launch strategy at least 3 months before your publishing date. This is the phase where you get everything set up so that on launch day, all you have to do is hit publish. During this phase, you will actually send out copies of your book to your ARC team so they have ample time to read it. You also want to go ahead and get started on your Goodreads page because it can take some time to prepare. You can also start sending out anticipation campaigns to your email list, letting them know that the book is coming out soon. And you can start executing on your social media marketing strategy. The other important thing to do during this phase is to set up your distribution channels. This means your Amazon page, your author page, and your sales page on your website if you choose to have one. Once that's complete, you can start setting up for pre-orders. Now, even though your book is set up for pre-orders, I don't recommend actually opening it up for pre-orders any earlier than about 2 weeks before your publication day. This is because pre-orders don't hold quite as much weight in the Amazon algorithm as sales do the week of, but they can still offer a significant boost for your book. As soon as your pre-orders become available, you want to start tracking all sales data. This way, you can measure how effective your marketing is over time. Then, when the big day arrives, publish the book and let everyone know about it. Send the exciting news out to your email list, post about it on social media, and of course, remind your ARC team that it's time to start posting those reviews to let the world know how awesome your book is. Now, I know the launch may seem like the most important part of the publishing journey, but your post-launch strategy is what keeps the momentum going. In the post-launch phase, your main goals are to create more visibility and reach now that your book is available, track your sales and marketing data so you can make adjustments when needed, and prepare yourself and your audience for what's next. In this phase, you can go to podcast interviews, schedule book signings, and reach out to influencers in your genre. This is also where it's okay to start paying for ads for your book. Just remember to start small. Keep a strict budget and monitor ad effectiveness along the way. I also recommend having an ongoing social media content strategy and an email marketing campaign still running so you can continue to communicate with your audience regularly over the next several months. Also, make sure you collect those positive reviews. You can use them on your website and in social media posts. And finally, start on your next book. The most effective marketing you can do for your most recently published book is to publish your next book. There are a lot of steps to self-publishing a book, but there are also a lot of steps to driving a car, which is why we all had to take time to learn how to do it right. Remember, you don't have to do everything at once. Each phase allows you to focus on a specific outcome in your publishing journey, so nothing gets overlooked. And of course, don't forget to download that self-publishing checklist from the description down below, so you can reference it anytime you need to. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe, and make sure you check out this next video on the biggest mistakes to avoid when self-publishing.